The next guy I'd like to introduce is Ken Papini, posthumously. I would like to ask Linda to stand up first. This is wife, Linda. I'm going to try to make it through this thing. You got a hanky or something? And then his daughter, Penny. Papini was a pretty special guy to all of us that played with him all the years. So I remember I have a lot of good memories of Pappy. First of all, how many of you have heard of the Eureka Collegians in this room? Anybody? PK? Does anyone know what team they eventually became?
Crabs.
The Humboldt Crabs. Everybody in here remembers Humboldt Crabs.
I played for the Crabs.
That team was started by Mr. Papini. Little did I know this until I started digging into this. I was at Little League Championships in Eureka this year and ran into all of his old buddies he grew up with. We had a little get-together reunion and they started telling me about all these stories. That was one of them that I never heard. He was in college. He played at Humboldt State. He went to make sure I get this right, went to a tournament in Medford, Oregon or somewhere there, and saw this tournament going on with all these collegiate guys and said, Humboldt needs one of these things. So that's what started it. He owned a beer distributorship then, and then eventually, not a bar, but a grocery store or something. So he took his money and started that whole thing as the Eureka Collegians, eventually developed it into as the Humboldt Crabs, and got gung-ho behind it. That's how that all started. So we talked a little bit about that at Larry Manuel's recent funeral services, and it all came up. And so it was kind of connecting all the dots was kind of nice. He literally started, or he played for them for many years, and was all, lead center fielder or whatever. He was known for his extraordinary play in the outfield, best remembered for his left-handed, what they called cannon arm. He, I guess back in those days, had a cannon from center field that he couldn't believe. So when Ronnie Brandon Arley was actually the one that noticed Papini hitting it when he owned the batting cage. Ronnie owned the batting cage, what was it called, the batting? Just the batting cage. Out on Interstate 80. But Pappy was in there just getting a little exercise, right? And Ronnie noticed him and said, you need to play in this league. So he became a member of the Blue Jays, I think is when he first started out. And then bumped into Lowell and I and a couple others from the A's, and we convinced him he needed to be an A. So he became our center fielder. Had he ever pitched before in his life? Okay. And Linda said he couldn't believe we asked him to pitch. But we saw a strong arm out there. We just didn't know which county that pitch was going to end up with first. Kind of like Palmer, the left-handed. Maybe a lot more sense of Palmer. But anyway, so Pappy started, and I guess you said he had a couple sleepless nights before his first start. He came in, and at first he wasn't much of a pitcher at all. He just was wild. He was, a wild left-hander. But then some of you that have faced him, he ended up with a nice little screwball and hit the outside at the end, move it around a little bit. He became one of the 8's best pitchers, the best guys we had. And then he became one of the Magic's and Phoenix best pitchers. So he went from being a great center fielder to one of the best pitchers we had. Little did I know, when I played at Sac State, I played against Papini, and we were all these center fielders, and I didn't even know that until Pat and I were skiing one day, caught the sugar bowl, and we started talking about it, and went, whoa! So that was kind of a fun little information to recall. Jerry Carnell told me this little story that, and I'm sure Doug Hilton and Bill Bailey and the guys who go to Florida, Johnny Lane, I guess there was one game that he literally almost won as a relief pitcher, but he didn't even throw a pitch. There was guys on second, third, or something. The guy got a hit.
Guy third, wrestling one out.
And they knew how he threw. And they refused to send him in on that, and they won by 1 run. That saved them the game right there. So, all to Kenny's credit. He was diagnosed with cancer, and told he just had a short time to live. He went to Mexico, right? Got some treatments. Played for another 4 or 5 years after that, after being told you have about 8 weeks or whatever, get your order, etc., etc. So you guys saw him playing then. He was still strong as an ox. Played till he couldn't play anymore, and then eventually retired. And all I know is We just remember him for his great smile, his great play. He was one of the best teammates you could ever have. He'd always say, Ricey, you just tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. So, I was asking for a whole bunch of money, but he wouldn't give me and just a side note on this stuff here. Kenny and I did a lot of skiing together. His favorite spot was Sugar Bowl. You skied with me at Sugar Bowl, right? And we've gone to Sierra Ski Ranch a few times. So when he passed away, Linda asked me to put the ashes at, where we all enjoyed the most. So I have an MGD beer about, I toast Kenny and I have an MGD at the top of Sierra and Sugar Bowl every year now. And because I took his ashes up there. We've got to go to the park and have a few, huh? But I will always remember Kenny Papini. He was a great teammate, a lot of fun to play with, and gave it 110% all the way. So Linda's going to accept the plaque for Kenny.
Today's his birthday. He never thought he was a very good ball player. That's what's funny. He always thought you guys were great. And he said, I have to work so hard. I just don't want to let him down. And so you can see the opposite. Likes me doing sprints. And I say, why do you tell it? And I say, you haven't seen me until you've been in center field. He said, the sun's going up. It's cool now. He said, the fans are standing. He said, you can see everybody. And you can see the guys coming up. He said, I got to do this till they throw dirt in my face.